Right now, somewhere in your body, loneliness is registering as an injury. Not a metaphor, not a figure of speech, an actual injury. You have felt this before. The night nobody texted back, the lunch you ate alone while everyone else laughed at another table, a dull ache that sits somewhere behind your ribs and refuses to move. You probably called it sadness, but your brain called it something else entirely. For decades, scientists assumed emotional pain and physical pain were separate systems. One lived in the body, one lived in the mind. They were treated like distant cousins who happened to share a last name. Then a psychologist named Naomi Eisenberger decided to test that assumption directly. She built an experiment called Cyberball, a simple digital game. You throw a ball back and forth with two other players online, except the other players are not real. They are programmed, and halfway through the game, they stop passing you the ball. That's it. No insult, no confrontation, just silence, and a ball that no longer comes your way. While people played this game, Eisenberger scanned their brains, and what she found changed how we understand rejection forever. The moment the ball stopped coming, a region called the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex lit up. This is the same region that activates when your hand touches something hot, when you twist an ankle, when your body sends the signal that says something is wrong. This hurts. Pay attention. Being excluded from a simple ball-tossing game with strangers who weren't even real triggered the same neural alarm as physical injury. Your brain does not have a separate department for social pain. It recycles the one built for bodily harm. Think about what that means. Every time you felt left out of a conversation, every time a friend didn't invite you, every time silence stretched a little too long after you said something vulnerable, your brain wasn't being dramatic. It was running the exact same threat detection software it uses when your body is under attack. Why would evolution build it this way? Because for most of human history, being alone didn't just feel bad. It was a death sentence. Humans evolved in small, interdependent groups. A person cast out of the tribe lost access to food, protection, shared warmth, defense against predators. Isolation wasn't an inconvenience. It was one of the most dangerous things that could happen to you. So your nervous system evolved to treat social disconnection with the same urgency as a broken bone. Pain is the body's alarm system. And somewhere along the evolutionary timeline, that alarm system expanded to cover a threat far older than any single predator, the threat of being left behind by your own people. This is where the story gets stranger. A researcher named C. Nathan DeWall wanted to know if this overlap was more than symbolic. Social pain really did borrow the brain's physical pain circuitry, then maybe something built to numb physical pain could numb social pain too. So he ran a study using something almost absurdly ordinary, acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol. Participants took it daily for 3 weeks, while a control group took a placebo. Each day they reported how much social pain they felt: rejection, hurt feelings, the sting of exclusion. By the end of the study, the group taking the pain reliever reported measurably less social pain than the group taking the placebo. Brain scans on a related task showed reduced activity in the same regions Eisenberger had identified years earlier. Pill designed for headaches and sore muscles was dulling the sting of feeling unwanted. Sit with that for a second. It shouldn't work. Heartbreak and headaches are not supposed to share a mechanism, but your brain was never designed with separate lanes for physical and emotional damage. It built one alarm system and let both kinds of threat ring the same bell. This is also why chronic loneliness does something far more dangerous than making you feel bad for an evening. A psychologist named John Cacioppo spent decades studying what long-term loneliness actually does to the body, not just the mood, and what he found was unsettling. Chronic loneliness doesn't behave like an emotion that fades. It behaves like a persistent stress state. It elevates cortisol, it disrupts sleep, it weakens immune function. Cacioppo's research linked prolonged loneliness to inflammation levels, cardiovascular strain, and mortality risk on par with well-known physical health dangers like smoking or obesity. Your body was never built to distinguish between the ache of a wound and the ache of disconnection. Both trigger stress responses. Both, left untreated, wear the body down. This reframes something you've probably felt but never had language for. That "I'm fine" you say after a lonely week isn't just an emotional cover-up. It's you minimizing something your nervous system is treating as an active injury. There's a researcher who helped connect all of this into a single framework, Matthew Lieberman, who worked alongside Eisenberger on much of the early social pain research. His argument is that the brain social pain network isn't some evolutionary accident bolted onto an older system. It's a feature, not a bug. Social connection was so essential to human survival that the brain repurposed its most reliable alarm, physical pain, to protect it. In other words, you were built to need people the way you were built to need your hand off a hot stove. Now think about your own life through this lens. The way a delayed text reply can spike a flicker of anxiety completely out of proportion to the situation. The way being the only person not laughing at an inside joke can sting for the rest of the day. The way an old friend slowly going quiet in your messages can sit in your chest like something physical. Because to your brain, it is you are not oversensitive. You are not weak for feeling the sting of being overlooked in a meeting or excluded from a plan or forgotten in a group chat. Your brain is running code that is millions of years old, code that once meant the difference between survival and death, and it has no idea that a group chat is not a hunting party. This also explains why forced isolation, even without any obvious danger, feels unbearable to almost everyone who experiences it. It's not boredom. It's not simply missing company. It's the oldest alarm your body owns, going off with nothing to answer it. Knowing this changes what you do with the feeling. The next time loneliness shows up, quiet and heavy and hard to name, you don't have to talk yourself out of it or explain it away as being too sensitive. You can recognize it for what it actually is. A physiological signal, not a character flaw. A survival mechanism doing exactly what it was built to do, even in a world that no longer runs on tribes and campfires. And maybe that's the real reframe here. The ache you feel when you're left out isn't proof that something is wrong with you. It's proof that something in you still remembers what it took to survive. Right now, somewhere in your body, loneliness is registering as an injury, and for the first time, you understand exactly why.